Christmas magic. Amazon Fresh, rotting at our front door now.
Oh my gosh, don't say that. Makes me so sad. My cheese board.
My cheese board. My cookies.
My cookies. My cheese board. Hello and welcome to Hardly Holidays, the sweet and condensed version of our show where we talk about all things Christmas and holiday. I'm Kelly.
And I'm SP, joined yet again for another day with Milo, the holiday wonder pup. He's been here, he's been hanging, and he's so
Give me
ready.
kisses. Yeah.
He's ready to go back in time.
Yeah, he is.
Through the year of 2024 for our second list of Hardly Holidays.
He's an avid movie watcher.
And you know what? Last year we did our top 10 movies, top grossing movies of the year, but this year we're also adding the top 10 most streamed TV shows because not only were we looking
I
at
have
that.
some guesses.
Yep. And I want to know what ones you've seen and which ones you've enjoyed. And we'll get there as soon as we get there. But today is that day where we take a look at the top grossing movies of 2024 as well as those streaming TV shows. Season streamings to you.
Season streaming.
To all who
you.
celebrate. By the way, I hope you enjoyed your Christmas. Merry the day after Christmas. The weird week between Christmas and New Year's where nothing
Nobody really knows.
matters.
Yeah, nobody really knows what to do.
Well, the only thing I know is that calories don't count for the next 7 days.
Sure.
They just don't.
Sure.
So eat, drink,
And be merry.
Responsible.
Oh.
But and also probably marry too. You'd probably be merry. Either way, Kel, you watched, in my opinion, not that many movies this year.
No.
In comparison to other years.
Yes. Although I did make up for lost movie watching time on some of my recent plane trips.
Oh.
So we'll see
Yeah.
if I've seen them. Because I know we kind of talked about it, but because you weren't with me, I'm curious if you remember that I watched them.
I do remember a few of those, yes.
Okay.
Those are not on the list.
None of them?
I mean, I can't remember every movie that you've watched on an airplane without me, but Twisters is not on the list.
No way.
And neither is The Fall Guy.
Really?
Yes. Did you know The Fall Guy's a remake? It might even be a remake of a remake.
I know, but did you also know that The Fall Guy is helping to change the industry and could be a big reason why, or I think is a big reason why stuntmen are now going to be, there's not going to be like a Grammy, or not a Grammy.
Like
an Oscar nomination for
and there
stunt
should be
choreography.
Of course,
And
there
that
always should have been.
they broke so many records during the filming of Fall Guy.
And so many bones, probably.
No bones, but lots of records. Like the most they had done ever was like an 8. When you like flip a car over, the most ever on history was like 8 rolls.
The most
But
ever
in
on
the-
history.
In history, you know what I mean. Stop making fun of me.
I'm just grammatically
And
engaging.
Thank you. You and many people like to do that to me, so thank you so much.
We all both love you.
Yeah. But they did 8.5, and it was like a record break. It was like the last one.
8.5 rolls.
The tide was coming in. It was the
Wait,
last.
was this not a car?
It was a car, but they were doing it like on the beach. So like the tide was coming in.
I was like, what does the tide have to do
The
with
tide
it?
was coming in. It was going to be the last opportunity they had. The sun was going down. It was the last car that they could roll that they had. And so they're like, well, let's go. And they did it, and it rolled 8.5 times.
Wow.
And like their reactions were genuine because they were like, oh my gosh. Like, and like they broke records. It wasn't the only thing they broke records on. There was a ton of other things like individual records and records within the industry. I was like, that's such a cool thing. I learned that all from Ashley May, who works at the Academy, and watched a panel on Fall Guy and learned all this stuff. I was like, that's so cool.
And here's a clip of her explaining it right now.
No,
there's not. That's interesting. I had no idea.
I know.
That's very cool.
So it made me appreciate it and enjoy it more.
Did you know that going into it or just after or during? Just during?
I knew going into it because we chatted about it just
Very
briefly.
cool.
And then obviously more came up.
Well, much like everything else in our life, the things that change history are not the things that most people are paying to see.
So let me see.
So let's start off with our top movies of 2024.
Is this like grossing or like, or yes.
Correct. So this is not our favorites or most popular. This is the highest box office grossing movies of 2024. Starting with number 10, which is Beetlejuice.
That was pretty good.
Did you watch the whole thing?
No, I still need to watch the ending of it.
Now,
I got far enough that I was like, okay, I know how this ends. But
okay, yes. But also, we were kind of excited about this, and then somehow by the time we got there, it had kind of fizzled out.
yeah, but I was really fun to watch. And this movie, they changed it enough that it was interesting.
That makes sense.
Honestly. And I was surprised. I never get shocked. Normally I figure it out, but I did not figure it out.
Dang. Well, for those of you who haven't been with us since day one, the first episode of our podcast, we've been oddly tied to Beetlejuice this whole time. Our first episode we talked about, and may have even been titled Beetlejuice the Musical.
Yeah.
because we ended up going to Beetlejuice the musical at Pantages.
Which was way better than the first movie. I'm sorry, everybody.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Quick recap on that. We were going to go, and then the night before, we were like, we should probably watch the movie because I had seen it, but Kellie hadn't. And Kellie was like, this is not for me. I was like, that's going to be a problem for tomorrow. Then we went.
The musical was so fun.
Hilarious.
And it's been really popular on TikTok this year, the Beetlejuice, because
so fun.
you're so great. A stand-up guy, whatever.
The other thing that stands out about this movie is that just like the first film, Beetlejuice only got 17 minutes of screen time.
I know, which was interesting because as I was watching it, I knew that was true, but I was like, it really feels like he's in here more because he shows up earlier.
I wonder if just the character or the gag or the bit wears thin if it's any longer than that.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Who knows? And you get Beetlejuice's voice, you get Beetlejuice as a cockroach, Beetlejuice's other things in the first movie. So who knows what they're counting exactly. But Beetlejuice was number 10 with, I'm looking at my graphic right here. Thank goodness I can see it on one monitor. A very small printed number of $451 million, making it our 10th position.
That's insane. Okay.
Number 9, the Borderlands movie.
No.
I'm just kidding.
It's
like, not.
Oh
it's
my
Venom,
gosh.
The Last Dance.
Didn't see it.
Neither did I. We have not seen Venom 1, 2, or 3.
The only Venom I've ever seen is the after credits clip in one of the Marvel movies we watched, Spider-Man.
Was it when Tom Hardy was like in a restaurant or something? Yeah. It was probably one of the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, it was the after credit scene. That's all.
But as far as I know, Tom Holland has not been in any of these Venom movies.
No.
And I think I just heard rumors that they're doing they did Kraven the Hunter, which is another like villain spin-off, I think, from Spider-Man.
Who cares?
And it did very bad.
Because I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, so not a great time for that. Now, this made the top 10 list at the position number 9.
With $475 million in the box office.
Still a lot of money. But generally, most of what I heard about this movie was that it was not what people enjoyed out of this franchise. But still good enough to make it number 9.
People were probably wanting to finish it off and go and see it, you know?
Yeah, we've come this far. We gotta finish the trilogy.
Ow.
Next up, number 8.
So low, but it's still in theaters, so it could keep going up.
And that's the thing. Some of these movies were released later on in the year. Some at the beginning. Some have had more time to make money. Some haven't. I was surprised to see that this one was as low as it is. We have not said what it is, though. So tell them, Kel.
It's Wicked at $531 million. I will say this, though. I do think that this will get higher because they are doing sing-along versions, too, coming up here towards the end of the year. I think that this number will get higher and higher. I understand that we are not at the end of the year yet, but I'll be curious to look in January back to see if this went up higher because I do think that it.
Yes, I was shocked at how low it is on the list.
Yeah.
Still in the top 10, but position 8 seemed low. I thought it would be like number 1.
I didn't think number 1, but I definitely thought like 4 or 5.
Yeah, but I agree with what you're saying.
But I think it'll be somewhere higher.
Even before the year is over.
Yeah, because especially because Christmas time, people are going to see movies too. So if they haven't had the time to see a 3-hour movie, now's the time that they probably will. And
no
so
doubt.
I think people will be watching. Like today, for instance, great day to go and watch Wicked.
Yeah, once you're done with this, go see Wicked.
Yeah.
Maybe do a sing-along. I was wondering, though, too, this year we were immersed in NBC Universal so much more than we've ever been. So I had that thought. I was like, did we think it was a bigger deal because of that?
I'm not going to lie. I did have that thought, but also this would have been a big deal in our household regardless.
Sure.
Because I am you didn't know this. It was so funny. You were like, you really know Wicked? And I was like, yes. And I remember you being surprised that how much I knew the songs. I was like, yeah, it's like what we did when I was younger. We would like learn the harmonies to Wicked and then sing it in the car with like your friends.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big thing.
Wow. Yeah, I was listening to writer Mark Bernardin and director Mark Bernardin talk about his review of Wicked. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm like same boat. He's like, I saw this when it came out, but that was 18 years ago. So all I know is like the good witch, the bad witch, and they go to school. I remember defying gravity, but that's about it. And he didn't even remember like how the play ends. This movie split up into 2 movies, but the play is just 2 acts. Or like,
it splits up at intermission.
Yeah, an intermission, 3 acts, I'm sure. But anyway, I was like, yeah, I really relate to that. I don't remember how this goes, but I'm not going to sit here to spoil it for people.
I do.
But 31 million is what it's made so far?
531.
Nothing to sniffle at.
Oh my God.
Can you believe that though? This beat it. Number 7 is Kung Fu Panda 4.
At 547 million. I think Wicked will beat this.
Here's the deal. You'll see a few more kids films in this list. I think that parents still like the idea of getting their kids out and not having to babysit or watch them for
I'm
2
wondering
hours.
if Moana's on this list.
It is on this list, yeah.
Dang.
But all of these kids' movies tend to perform better because it's a
easy.
reason to get your kids
Yeah.
out. You're usually bringing maybe your spouse or partner, or maybe the brother or sister too. Like you're not
Yeah.
gonna buy 2 tickets. You're probably gonna buy 3 or 4, depending on how big your family is.
Yeah.
So the kids' movies like Kung Fu Panda are gonna kill at the box office still
yeah.
because they're still going to theaters.
We
for
didn't
this.
see this, although I do like Kung Fu Panda. I did not see 4 though. So
I didn't either. I did hear it was good, and it made $547 million. So that's a lot of money.
yeah.
Let's take a look at number 6. I forgot this even came out. Godzilla.
Is this the like really the one where like they're in Japan and they?
All I know. No, so no, that's Godzilla -1. That's oh. Milo
knew.
the Wonder Dog is leaving the building.
Bye, Milo.
That's the end of Milo.
Our
Well-
only one and only guest we've ever had was like Godzilla versus King Kong. I'm out.
Boring. Putting me to sleep.
I don't want it. Yeah, and that's
Full
okay.
circle. So this was not Godzilla -1, the Godzilla movie that happens a year before Godzilla gets here.
That's the one that's in like Japan when.
Yes.
Okay.
Which was critically acclaimed last year. This is the one where there seems to be a ton of different like Kong style. By the way, it's called Godzilla X Kong versus Kong.
The New
Godzilla and
Empire.
Kong, the New Empire. This is the one where Kong's got a big like metal arm on, looks like a Mega Man style arm.
Optimus Prime to me.
So,
Looks
yeah,
like a
Optimus
Transformer,
Prime.
Yeah.
And from what I can gather,
Or Thanos and the Gauntlet.
yeah, the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
I think Godzilla and King Kong team up to fight the patriarchy. I don't know what happens, but that made $571 million.
I was like, this
as
is
well.
not our type of movie. So
Although we watched Godzilla versus Kong a couple years ago.
did we?
Yeah, it was like pandemic season where we're like, movies on TV. This is great, and I think we liked it.
I don't remember that. You
Well-
you were probably right. I just need you to know. I don't know.
It made its way to our number 6, not ours, the global number 6 position. Number 5 is Dune Part 2.
These movies I really would like to see.
I would like to be interested in seeing them. because I'm not.
Dune 1 and then Dune 2. This is difficult for me to say because I actually do particularly like all of these actors and actresses. But this Dune Part 2 was the first time that I was like, all right, Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya,
Enough.
and Florence Pugh.
Enough.
You guys are amazing. I love you. I love all of you.
Enough.
But you've just been in so many movies this year. I was like, dang, good for you guys. And you guys are totally great. But like, give me less so I can enjoy you more.
I agree. That's the story of Dune 2 for me, Part 2. Moving on to our number 4
Moana.
movie.
Wow, Moana 2 at 722 million.
So you talked about this a few days ago on Hardly Holidays,
Yeah.
but Moana 2 crushed Wicked in comparison.
I know.
722 versus what did Wicked pull in? 500?
541.
That's a significant.
I'd like to see where they are now because I know we pulled this.
I pulled this yesterday. So this is where they are now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Moana 2, everybody. We talked about it earlier. It was supposed to be a Disney Channel or Disney
Yeah.
Plus TV show.
I do want to see this.
Yeah. But you know more about the Lin-Manuel Miranda of it
Yeah.
all.
So Lin-Manuel Miranda was asked to do it when it was pitched as a TV show. He said no. And then they asked if any of you have ever heard of the unofficial Bridgerton musical that got like sued by Shonda Rhimes herself. Those two people, her last name is Bear, but I can't remember her first name. They wrote the music for this, which good for them. A lot of people love the unofficial Bridgerton, the musical, including my friends that they've tried to get me to listen to, and I just haven't. But I think I just have such a love for Bridgerton that it's hard for me to be like, I don't want to listen to something that's not right. I don't know. It's very
Yeah.
odd. It
But
also
what
just
about that
wasn't-
Wicked song that you and Brooklyn keep singing? That's not from Wicked. They're like, we hate
Elphaba.
each other. Now
Glinda.
we're besties.
Elphaba. Yeah, that was Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo doing something
Oh,
for
it is
like
them.
It's doing something for like a late night
Got
talk
it.
show. In the same way that Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman did something. Do you remember they did like a song kind of like that?
No.
Yeah, it's kind of just that. I don't know if it was on SNL or on like the late night.
The
with
late show?
with Jimmy Fallon.
I don't know.
I don't know, but I think it was one of those things.
All right. Anything else on Moana 2 before we move on to our number 3?
I just want to see it, and maybe we will. I will say this one was a confusing one for me when they said it was coming out, and I wonder if it was for anyone else.
Oh, yeah.
Because if anybody remembers at the top of the year, The Rock went on, I'm pretty sure Jimmy Fallon, and said, yes, we're doing a live action Moana. And then truly like a month later, they were like, Moana 2. And I was like, so are we doing a live action or are we doing Moana 2? Like,
I was
which one is
confused
it?
by
It
that
was
as
so
well.
confusing. And I guess they're doing both is the answer. And he is in both.
Yep. I could have asked him that time that
saw him
he
at
was
Deep.
like, hey, great job out there. And I accidentally ignored him. And I could have been like, what's the deal with Moana 2 in live action? But no, I just looked and felt like an idiot instead. Okay. You ready for number 3?
I am.
Number 3 is Despicable Me 4.
That came out this year?
It came out this year.
Did
it's
we
hard.
see that?
No.
I don't remember that, baby.
No. But because they do Despicable Me movies and they do Minions movies, it's really hard to keep track.
This is Universal, isn't it? Illumination.
DreamWorks?
But it is Universal because they have, Minions.
Yes, totally.
Wow.
So we love it. We want more of it. But I guess a baby is introduced now.
Does that say 69?
969
million. Or 59 million? Wow.
No, 969 million, yeah.
Wow.
Look, when I was making these graphics on my computer screen, they looked a lot bigger.
That's okay.
Number 2.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
It's gotta
have
be.
not seen this. I did not watch this without you.
And I did a lot of work, not on the movie, but around the movie with being at San Diego Comic-Con with Marvel Studios. Yeah. Actually, I think it's just Marvel now. This was a big thing. It was the same weekend that it premiered, that it was opening. We talked with the producers, tons and tons of people. Still haven't gotten a chance to see it, though.
I know. We'll watch it at some point.
But that came in at $1.3 billion with a
Dang.
B. Lots and lots. Any guesses on the number 1 movie?
Man, is it an action movie or a different kind of movie?
I'm going to be honest with you.
You don't remember?
I don't remember.
Honestly, I can't remember past September.
It would have to be bigger than Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm going to assume it's a kid's movie. You ready to find out?
Yeah.
The number 1 movie, highest grossing of 2024 is...
Inside Out 2.
Of
I hated
course.
this movie.
$1.7 billion. It was just shy of that, but I rounded up to 1.7.
That makes sense.
You did not enjoy this movie.
I literally said I hated this movie. You didn't hear me because you were talking at the same time.
I heard you. I was just circling back, trying to make a clean transition that got called out.
Don't have anxiety. I have anxiety sometimes, but I don't live with anxiety. I'm naturally and genuinely just a positive person who just doesn't really struggle. But this movie, I remember sitting in this movie being like truly so stressed out. And so I felt so uptight. Like everything was kind of like I was clenched. I was like, you know what I mean? What's the word for that? I was tensed.
Anxious is the word for it.
The whole time. And afterward you were like, I was like, man, that movie was like really hard to watch. He was like, really? It felt like home.
Yeah, because I'm riddled with anxiety.
I was like, if that's what anxiety feels like, that is terrible. Like it's a terrible feeling. And I totally understand everyone more, but boy, do I not want to live there. And so it was a great movie in the sense that it did exactly what it was meant to do. Is it made you understand what anxiety is. But man, I hated that.
I don't blame you. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Yeah, no notes on that. 1.7 billion is great, but I want to get into the TV shows because there's a lot more TV shows than there are movies. So I want to move through them quick because I know not everybody has watched all of them. But
I have. I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
Kellie's gonna have quite a few on this list. So let's jump in now. Moving away from the
How
top.
many do you think I've seen? Take your guess. I think I've seen 6.
I was gonna say 6 as well.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't even know what they are, but I think I've seen 6.
Yeah, but if I'm going to be more accurate, I'd probably lower the number because there's a lot of TV shows and they're not all in your wheelhouse. So I'm going to lower my number to 4.
Okay.
Let's transition from highest grossing movies to the most streamed television shows of 2024. Starting with number 10.
It was Agatha All Along.
Boop, boop.
I've seen that.
This has got to be one of your top TV shows
Top
of the
TV
entire
shows
year.
of the year. Truly, I love this. And everyone loved it so much that this was supposed to be a standalone season. Guess what? They're coming back. Agatha All Along too.
Hey.
I'm very excited. I really like Joe Locke too. He did an excellent job in his not quite his acting debut, but he's pretty new to the scene. He did an excellent job. So I really enjoyed this a lot. And Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, she's
was
pretty
nice
great.
to see in there too.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say everybody was excellent in this.
She's Patty
LuPone.
Yeah, good stuff. I didn't see it at all, but
it was incredible. Look, it was so fun. I loved this so much. The
Marvel's
tarot card reading one,
it.
great. It was great. It was great.
So that's number 10. Number 9 is The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power.
No one cares. Just kidding. Good for you guys.
Yeah, we're not big Lord of the Rings people over here, so we did not see this.
Is this an order from most watched to least watched?
least
or
watched
least watched
to most. Yeah.
Sorry.
So this is the most watched.
So
but
Agatha was at the bottom.
Yes,
Least
was the
watched.
least of the top 10.
Dang, that sucks. Okay.
Yes. So Lord of the Rings of Power. Sorry, we just don't have much to say about it.
Yeah.
And I don't think we'll have much to say about this next one. Oh God, yeah, we do.
No, Bridgerton. Yeah, I was like, what do you mean? That has to be on the list. Yes, my least favorite season, but I did watch it and I do enjoy Bridgerton. Very excited for season 4. I hope they make it amazing and good.
Is
but
that your man right there?
No, that is not Jonathan Bailey. Jonathan Bailey season 2, baby.
Oh,
but he
that's
was
your
in
girl.
this season.
Yeah, I thought so.
He was in this season, but only a little bit. And during this, he was actually learning his wicked choreography and all that stuff. But
Where does Bridgerton fall? So you've seen so far Agatha All Along and Bridgerton. What was the standout for you this year between the two?
Agatha.
Agatha's in
but
first. But you have an undying, consistent love for Bridgerton.
Yes.
Different kind of love.
And I've read all of the books and I know all of the things. I think it was frustrating to me that they skipped past Benedict's season to do Penelope's season and Colin's season because I was like, you're missing things.
The books go in a certain order.
The books go in a
and
certain
they
order.
skipped over those characters' books.
And I have a lot of thoughts on this too, but Francesca is book 8. No, she's book 6. Sorry. And she is my favorite book and my favorite character. And I need everyone to understand that I'm totally here for not diversity, but for
I don't know what the story is, so I can't give you
for
any words.
inclusivity. Like I want everyone to be inclusive. I want everyone to be included, and I think that there are tons of opportunities to do that within Bridgerton to show different types of love.
Is there like a gay character that's the lead of a book or something?
No, there's not because you had to think about the time frame, and that wasn't like necessarily a thing back then. Yeah. But I do think that there was opportunities to make other siblings and things like that either like gay, lesbian, bisexual, somewhere part of the LGBTQI community. And I was quite disappointed that they chose to make Francesca that because her book series, and it's nothing to do with the fact they made her that. I was like, make Benedict that, make Eloise that. Like all of those make total sense. Well, Eloise doesn't, but Benedict makes total sense to do that. Make Hyacinth that. Like that's totally fine. Francesca's story revolves around not only the loss, well, it's giving spoilers. If you haven't read it, don't. But the loss of a husband, but also her struggle with infertility. And so it's very sad to see that instead of being inclusive of women who like have a hard time getting pregnant, they chose to give her a different, they made her bi. And I think that that's amazing. And I would like Benedict is that.
In the book or the movie?
In the show.
Okay.
And because you for those of us that are book readers, you see like the foreshadowing. We know it's going to happen. And so we know, but I'm like, man, you just like scratched out her whole story with infertility, which is basically the entirety of the book. And that's her whole struggle. So I'm like, what are you going to make hers about? Like you've changed it so much that it's really not going to be your story. Where again, I'm like Hyacinth and you've already made Benedict that. Benedict is already bi. Like I love that for him. And we've already watched that journey with him this season in particular. And so why not make that a part of his story? Like it falls in place and it makes sense. Instead, you took a character that struggles with something else and you isolated all those people to be inclusive, which again, I feel like I'm going to get canceled for this, but I say it like, I want the inclusivity, but I want it all the way around. And I want the stories to still be genuine and authentic to what we wrote in the book or what the books are written. And so I was a little bit bummed around that. Again, not because that they made her part of the LGBTQI community, but because I feel like they,
short shrifted the people who would be served with her other storyline.
Yeah, and they changed it. It will be completely different. And so I was so looking forward to it. Like I was so excited about it because it is my favorite book and it is so fun. I still think it'll be a fun season. We're a couple seasons away from that. But I also am not a huge fan of Penelope and Collins in general. I'm talking a lot of time. I love Bridgerton.
Well, let's move on though.
But it wasn't my favorite season. Season 2 was great, but I did obviously watch this at least twice. I'll probably watch it again before next year.
Let's see if you've watched
2 of 10.
This next one, number 7, House of the Dragon.
My guy's in this. My doctor Matt Smith is in House of the Dragon. I have not finished. It's not the Lord of the Rings. I have not finished Game of Thrones. And so I have not jumped into House of the Dragon because I think it's a prequel.
It is, yeah.
But I do think it would ruin pieces of it for me. And so I have not jumped into House of the Dragon yet. But I might. I was behind on Game of Thrones. I didn't start watching Game of Thrones till this year?
Last year? Late last year. So in about 10 years, you can start House of the Dragon. You'll be fine. Let's take a look at number 6. Another thing you haven't seen, The Penguin. This is a pretty recent show. Obviously, it's about the Batman villain, the Penguin.
Yes.
Is it Colin Farrell who's under all of that makeup and prosthetics? Yeah, he was in
Looks like it.
the Batman, the movie recently, as one of the villains, and then got his own spinoff here.
I heard this was really good.
A lot of people love it. They're comparing it a lot to The Sopranos.
That makes sense to me. Sopranos. Like the alto soprano.
Oh, I see. So this has been hugely successful. Colin never once had to put the makeup on, but he might be roped into another movie or TV show coming up here because it is huge.
Would you watch
numbers, gangbusters. Would I? It's not really for me. I mean, I don't really watch stuff anyway. But also, I can't remember her name. Christina
Applegate?
Mariotti?
Oh, yeah.
She was in How I Met Your Mother
I know who you're talking
as
about.
the spoilers 2, 3, 4 mother.
Yeah.
Her name escapes me, but she is apparently the standout in this. And once her storyline kicks in, it's all good to go. So anyway, I might check it out with you if you're interested, but not by myself. Number 5.
The Boys. What
This
the
was
heck
a
is that?
show. You know The Boys. It's a superhero show on Amazon Prime. This was one of those shows that my acting teacher Robert Davanza was like, "You need to check out the show because this is the type of show you could be on." And I watched it and I was like, got it. Simone and Nick watch the show a lot, The Boys. A lot of people like this. It's been interesting because Homelander, the main character, has either a lot of Trump-like characteristics that cause people who enjoy Trump to like him and people who don't enjoy Trump
Hate
to
him.
be like, look, this is like, doesn't it look crazy? And it kind of made it a polarizing figure on both sides. Words today. But
That's
The
okay.
Boys is number 5.
It's not a superhero thing. It's
It
like
is.
it is?
Yeah, they're all superheroes.
Yeah, okay. Not my cup of tea. I'm not going to win this. You guys said 4. I said 6. I'm definitely going to lose.
Well, let's see if you have number 4, if you've seen it. Number 4 is Fallout with my guy,
Yeah.
Walton Goggins.
I have not seen Fallout. I've heard good things about this, though. Is that Walton Goggins on the screen?
That is him right there.
Nasty.
As the main villain from the video game franchise turned into TV adaptation. I watched the first episode on a flight home.
Did you like
and
it?
I did. It's beautiful. But so much of it was in slow motion that I was like, I'm never going to get through this. It should be a 22-minute episode, but it's an hour and a half because it's all in
You
slow
should just
motion.
watch it sped up on like 2 times speed.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool. They've already been signed for season 2. And I
Good for
think,
Walter Goggins, honestly.
it's so cool that he's getting his time.
Yeah.
And he's also going to be one of the stars of White Lotus season 3. So
And
look
I'm
out
excited
that.
for him on that.
Number 3 of the top streamed shows of this year.
Shogun.
Shogun.
No.
Another one you haven't seen, but you did work with a lot of those people recently.
I did at the BAFTA Awards. I did get to see a lot of them and captured a lot of them on film. It's funny. This came out right around the same time that Avatar came out.
Oh, on Netflix.
Yeah, and I think and everyone was comparing it. No, everyone was comparing this to Game of Thrones. Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
they were saying this was going to be like the new Game of Thrones in the sense that it's very
follow all the
complicated. There's lots of
characters, yeah.
names to remember. The storylines are very intricate, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because I was watching Avatar when this came out, and also simultaneously, I think I was still in the middle of watching Game of Thrones.
Probably.
And so I think you were like, you might like this, but I just never.
Couldn't get to it.
Yeah.
Lots of people did, making it the number 3 position on our list. Number 2, True Detective.
I would like to watch this. It's
Night
on my
Country.
list.
You know, all of the seasons of True Detective have been great. This one, Jody Foster,
I do love Jodie Foster.
story is, and apologies for the language here, story is that she said yes to this, but she used the caveat of she just wanted to play a character that was a complete asshole. No redeeming qualities.
Really?
None of this like anti-hero or like the villain turned good. She just wanted to play a jerk. I have not watched this season of True Detective, so I don't know how that pans out, but I was told that that's why she signed on. So
Dang.
interesting that it holds down that number
That's on
2
my
position.
list. I'm going to give it a half point.
So here's the last one. One that you will be genuinely surprised by.
Have
but
I seen it?
You have.
Uh-huh.
And I've seen it.
Did I say it already? Is it Avatar?
It is like nothing else on this list. And our daughter has seen it.
Oh my
the
gosh.
number 1 most streamed TV show on any platform is Bluey.
That makes sense.
It's got to be, right?
It makes total sense to me. I mean,
If you're not a parent,
Bluey,
you haven't
you're a
seen this,
winner.
you just
You
don't
should
get
watch it
yet.
anyway.
Even if you're not a parent,
it's so good.
it is the perfect blend. By the way, there's like 10-minute episodes.
I can't tell you how many times I've cried to these 10-minute episodes.
We cried this year at an episode as we were going through our first flood and all that
oh
stuff.
my gosh.
And the episode where they were considering selling their house and stuff, we just
No spoilers.
lost it. Oh, it was terrible. But that's the thing is this is one of those shows that is so wholesome, so heartfelt, and does that little balanced perfectly that dance of it's for kids, but it's also for adults.
Yeah.
And it's for the adults that used to watch stuff like this as kids.
Yeah.
And now they're seeing it from a new perspective. You know
Yeah.
what? It's just like your rewatch of Gilmore Girls.
I know.
Where you're like, I'm seeing it from a totally different lens.
Yeah.
It's the same episodes, same shows, same characters, but a different perspective. Bluey captures that beautifully. If I do say so.
I'm so happy that was number one. It deserves to be. I'm sad Agatha was all the way down at 4, but you know what? That was
10.
great. You know what I'm surprised by? That Yellowstone was not on there.
I don't know if that's as big of a show now as it was a year or two ago.
Got it.
But I was because the guy who created that show has moved on to another show or two. That's another big deal
Like
show.
1923 or
something
whatever.
like that, or Tulsa King or something.
All kind of the same.
Yeah, they're all the same kind of vibe. Apparently, the dude who created Yellowstone, I think he started as, I was just listening to this yesterday, he started as a background actor and kind of worked his way through. He's like, I can write this stuff. I can do this. He bought a cattle ranch out in Wyoming or wherever they shoot, and he charges production to, shoot on his ranch. He's like, you probably need some horses for this production, don't you? Guess who has horses on this ranch? Me. So he has this beautiful machine of
That's so cool.
how it all works. Not unlike that show I shot in Malibu. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the top lists of
crazy.
of movies and TV shows. I hope that maybe you saw some to check out or just were reminded of some that you enjoyed. But Fallout's definitely on my list to check out.
Yeah,
again.
Night Country.
Night Country.
True Detective. Night Country.
True Country. Night Detective.
Nailed that.
Whatever it is. Hey, that's a wrap on day 4.
Woo, 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 woo.
Tomorrow, come on back because in true hardly working fashion, we're going to be giving you some unpop opins. That's right, holiday unpopular opinions to get you through the holidays, to say yay or nay to, and to spend that weird middle week between Christmas and New Year's thinking, contemplating, and addressing the questions of unpopular opinions. You ever just start talking and realize you don't know how to land the plane?
That's okay.
Story of my life.
Hardly holidays, guys.
It's here. It's here.
I was like, I have a rhyme, but I'm not going to say it. Well, we hope that you had a great Christmas and that you're enjoying today, the day after, right? Or is it 2 days after Christmas?
The day after Christmas.
It's the day after Christmas.
We landed this plane like
I
a
don't even know
Southwest flight.
where I am.
Little bumpy, but with lots of personality.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to Hollywood.
But we hope you spend most of your time hardly working for the next couple of days, especially as you come out of your Christmas coma of all of the treats and sweets, hot cocoa and candy that you've had. And we hope that you spend all of this time hardly working, like I've already said, and know that we love you.
She can't land it either,
Can't land it either.
She can't. Watch
But-
this. We hope you spend most of your holiday
Hardly working.
We
Bye.
nailed it. Bye. I think we nailed it. Bye.